Okay, hey guys, Terrell from Big Gold Belt Media. Nice to finally meet you.
You
Good to
too.
see
How
you,
you
Terrell.
doing, man?
Well, look, let's get this ball started, right? This is all for Johnny, Jonathan, and Efrain. I gotta ask, just kind of looking at your backgrounds, comedy is not like the top of the list. I mean, the last couple of things have been drama, drama, drama. Army guy.
What are you trying to say, man?
Look, what made you kind of transition to this role, like get into like do comedy instead of like the I guess more serious tone?
Feels like a Jonathan answer.
Excellent idea, Johnny. I think Excellent idea. I think for me it was opportunity. There hasn't been historically for me a lot of comedy that's come my way, and I'm sure that is a conversation in and of itself that we could have. But it was wonderful when it came up, and the opportunity was exciting for me, and I was just pleased and blessed to have gotten through the whole thing to got to the end and to be able to work with these fine gentlemen that you see here in front of you and the entire ensemble, cast and crew. They're just amazing. Primo is an incredible show, and I can't wait for people to see it. I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it's the same for me too. Just to piggyback off of that, it's honestly this opportunity. When I first moved to LA, I actually was doing mostly comedy. I was doing a lot of comedic improv, but everyone kind of saw me as this dramatic actor, and I started getting a lot more of auditions for drama, and then just kind of paved that career that kind of way. Obviously this comes across, and you have Mike Schur, Serrano, two like huge hitters in the industry, and just kind of worked out that way. But definitely opportunity, and the whole thing's been a blessing for sure.
Okay.
Sure. And on my end, sure, opportunity was a big piece of it. I actually think that Primo, yes, of course, it's a comedy, but it does have some drama in it, and it does have little nuggets of, profound wisdom. And so I think that's the cool part about Primo is that, after coming out of a pandemic, it's nice and lighthearted, but you can also go deep. You can also take away some cool little lessons in there. There are nuggets scattered throughout. And so it's a really cool mix of kind of drama and comedy.
Absolutely. Like I said, I watched, of course, the entire thing, and I got to say that the three of you, your characters alone are probably like the craziest on the show out of the brothers. You got the uncle who just got out of jail, who is every other week is going to jail. You got the uncle who's the family man who loves his family, who breaks down crying just thinking about his wife in the car, and then you got the uncle who makes particular statues at the swap meet, local flea market. So, I just never knew what I was gonna get out of each episode, and you guys absolutely killed it in every scene that you were in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second question: what would you say? What was your actual chemistry as brothers on set like? Like you guys, it took a while for you to warm up to the idea, or you guys just jumped right into it immediately.
Sure, I'll start. Do you want to start, Johnny?
No, go for it. Go for it.
So this is typical of how things go. Like Johnny's always just not letting me speak. No, it was really for me. It was really cool because I'm from Albuquerque, right? And it was shot in Albuquerque, so I got to play quasi host, and I would describe it a little bit like band camp. Like not that I've been to a band camp, but a camp of any sort, I guess. Where you just have a lot of random people show up together and you make it work because somewhere in there you start creating community. In our case, I don't think it was very hard at all. The cool part about having this specific cast is that everyone's so cool off of set as well. So it didn't take any kind of effort to jibe with people. Everyone's just an amazing person in and of themselves, besides the acting piece.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I remember the very first day I worked on set, and I hadn't met anybody, essentially. And I remember Jonathan was one of the first people I shot with. We had to do these sort of mock interviews. They were doing a camera test and stuff like that. And I remember me and him were kind of goofing off camera. And the very first day, I think you said that Shay said to you, hey, have you guys met each other? Because he thought that we had we already knew each other. And he was like, nah, like we just built rapport like immediately, you know? So I think it's super rare because, like, you know, I've worked on a bunch of other shows and that doesn't always happen that way. And this is such a heavy ensemble piece that I think it's so crucial that, you know, we have to be able to have that chemistry. Otherwise it doesn't really work. And, you know, thankfully, like from day one, everyone's just been amazing, you know?
Yeah, I moved around a lot as a kid, and I got really comfortable just talking to people immediately and getting to know people and being able to read the room, which I think has been a huge asset for me as an actor. And there was one other situation, funny enough, it was on The Purge, where the people that were in my storyline, we had to pretend to be partners in life and death situations for almost a decade, I think. And that kind of chemistry, that kind of camaraderie, you need to build immediately. And so I didn't waste any time. I just got to know the people. But before we shot our first scene, I just started messing around with people and talking to people, my other castmates, and they said the same thing. And so I kind of took that lesson with me here. We're a family, and I wanted to try and create as much of a family vibe for myself. You can never put what you want on other people. It has to come organically. And it just happened to be that through the casting with Shay and Mike and the whole production, the casting department, Carla Hool, they got incredible people who were personable, charismatic, incredibly talented and receptive, really empathic, and everybody was able to gel almost immediately. And we got that question more than once, where people were asking if we had known each other before, or if we had worked with each other before. And I think there was a couple of people who might have known each other, right, guys? I mean, I don't know if Christina and Carlos or Henry knew each other before.
I think they kind of knew of each other, but I don't think they actually met, possibly. I think not totally right, but I thought that's what they said. But yeah,
it was great. It's still great.
Yeah, like I said, you guys, it definitely shows like just how much fun you guys are having on set. And like I said, I can't believe how hard I was laughing each episode. I didn't know what to expect from you guys each episode. Like, 'cause every episode was kind of a theme, and I just didn't know what you guys were going to bring to the table. But like I said, you definitely killed it. Last question here. What would you say your favorite episode of the season was for you guys individually?
Ooh.
I know for me personally, it was Game Champ. That was my
Yeah.
To me, that was the most fun episode to shoot. Man, there was just the ridiculousness of it all, like this wild game that they had fabricated. And I didn't get to play the game, but you know, Rollie had his own kind of like storyline along that with with like, you know, Efraín and stuff like that. And I think it was kind of cool because it was this wild and crazy thing, but then there's also so much heart, you know, and there's also like, you get to see different sides of the characters, you know, and so you don't just see like that there's these wacky brothers necessarily, but they actually have a lot of other things going on in their life. And that's why I really love that episode, because it was wild and crazy, but at the same time, we got to really kind of dig deeper a little bit and see who brothers really are, you know?
Definitely.
Sure. I actually really like the pilot episode because I think it's a good introduction to everyone, and right off, you know, like before the credits are even rolling, in the first 30 seconds, you get introduced into, you just get dropped into this scene, and I think it gives you almost like that sensation of chaos by proxy. You're getting to see what this world is through the eyes of this 16-year-old. And even if you were to mute it, I think, and just look at the visuals of that scene and that chaos and people moving around, and it's a frenetic morning, you can see that there's still a lot of love there. You know, like you can see that there's just a whole lot of comfort in that scene. And so for me, just that pilot episode, just doing what pilot episodes are supposed to do, setting the setting, setting the location, setting the characters. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that it was also just kind of equal, right? Different episodes, like, you know, different families, have different focal points at different times. But I think the pilot episode did a really good job of just distributing all of the attention throughout this amazing cast.
Right. Look, I really appreciate you guys. That's all the time I have for the day. Jonathan, I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna say all of them are my favorite episodes.
But I really appreciate you guys for doing this with me. I hope you get a season 2. You guys were hilarious. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terrell. Have a great week.
See you.
Appreciate it. Take care.